And welcome back to the Mackinac Policy Conference here at the Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island. As Detroit employers face growing demand for skilled workers, education, and civic leaders continue to think about how students connect to careers, to higher education, and long-term economic opportunity. Let's explore Detroit's evolving talent pipeline in a major redesign of a high school experience with Anika Goss, CEO of Detroit Future City. Hello.
Hi.
We have Kerrie Campbell-Mabins, CEO of DPSCD Foundation. Great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
And Sarida Scott, Vice President of Programs at Skillman Foundation. Hello to you.
Good morning. Thanks
Good
for
morning.
having me.
So, Anika, Detroit Future City's new report really focuses on career-connected learning and the talent pipeline. What are the biggest gaps that you identified between education systems and workforce opportunities in Detroit today?
Right. I think one of the major gaps that we saw was that it was really clear we were building systems with a lot of assumptions about what young people would do after high school. We assumed that either they were going to go to a four-year college or they were going to a trade school. And by trade school, I mean either getting a trade as a plumber or an electrician or a hairstylist. Those are all trades. Yeah. And what we learned from a lot of the focus groups when we spoke to young people was they had really big dreams about what they wanted to do. But they were not exactly sure how to get there. And the systems that were currently in place were ended up being disconnected from what they really wanted to do. Industries like health and tech and creative tech, right? They knew that they wanted to be a part of those careers and that they wanted to pursue those, but they had no idea of how to actually make those connections. And the systems that were built weren't necessarily as obvious and as accessible to the young people or their parents to help navigate that career path.
Sarida, was that a surprise to you?
It was a bit of a surprise, but one of the things, and part of the reason that, the way that the research was done for this report, we really wanted to hear from youth. And that's the thing, to Anika's point, adults tend to make a lot of assumptions. Yeah. But if we ask youth what they're interested in, what they need to make those connections between their education to a career, they will tell us. And they'll tell us and be quite honest about it.
Yeah. Kerrie, DPSCD is launching a major redesign of the high school experience as we're talking about this pipeline. What is it going to look like compared to a traditional high school?
It's exactly what, Anika was speaking to. What we understood and why we decided to do high school redesign is that it's been 3 years in the making and understanding what our students actually wanted to do and ensuring that we create those opportunities for them. And so this transformational project is going to help specifically our 11 neighborhood high schools in getting them a proper pathway for career, college, or trade schools and providing those opportunities beginning in the 9th grade. Because what we saw was that by the time they got to 11th and 12th grade, they no longer thought that high school was a meaningful experience to them. And so in order for us to make sure that they're interested in it or give them a world of opportunities, that has to start much earlier. And so we have some programming starting even from 6th to 8th grade, but specifically for 9th grade, we're going to do an advisory and seminar session every day for the entire time that they're going to be in high school. And so that's going to start in the 26-27 school year, and it's going to be from 9th grade to 12th grade where they'll get that advisory and seminar session where they understand different industries, give them an opportunity to hear from industry professionals, go see some of the sites in person, and then in 10th grade, what they're going to experience is 4 different pathways that they can choose to get a diploma. And so you'll have an honors diploma pathway, you'll have a dual degree, a career diploma, or an arts diploma. And everyone would still get that regular Michigan merit, but we wanted to ensure that we digged a little deeper to give them more opportunities. And then by the time they get to the 11th and 12th grade, we want them out of the high school at that point, going to internships, work-based learning opportunities, or going on campus. When we looked at the data, most of our students are more inclined to go to college if they actually have that college experience before they leave high school. And so when we think about what transformation looks like, that's essentially high school redesign and what we plan to do for 11 of our neighborhood high schools.
Kerrie, I'm wondering, there's increasing pressure on schools to prepare students not just academically, right, but for these careers and economic mobility. How do you balance, workforce readiness with traditional educational goals? Like, what does that look like in 2026?
It looks like high school redesign, because that's exactly what it is. And our students told us that that's what they wanted. They want to be able to get a glimpse of the real world. Sometimes you don't know what's available to you if you never had an opportunity to see it. And so in order for us to ensure that they get, what the state mandates at the high school diploma, we have to go further than that to make sure that they're future ready. And that was in alignment with the strategic plan and the blueprint. And so when you think about all of the work that our superintendent has been able to do, high school redesign was one of the last components that he wanted to work on to ensure that once you learned everything in elementary and middle school, now high school is really going to be that springboard for you to have the future that you deserve to have.
Yeah. Sarida, equity is a major part of this conversation. How do you ensure students across Detroit, regardless of zip code, income level, have access to these internships and these partnerships and these high growth opportunities?
So part of the reason for the study and the report is to first understand exactly where the issues are and where the problems are. We really need everyone to understand the connection between education and workforce readiness. I think we've kind of dismissed it, as you said, we want students to just come out and be ready to go, and they don't even understand what's available, what the jobs are, and where the career paths are. So first, just understanding the magnitude of it, but part of it is also supporting and working with DPSCD. As they're doing this, high school redesign, it's ensuring that it's across the district. And it's not just for certain schools, and that's what I love about it. Even as a DPS grad, there are certain schools that get more. We want to make sure that all the schools are aware of it. And the report also helps recognize that all students are interested in their careers and their futures. And we need to make different, and they want different things. And so we don't need the same thing at every school. We need to have a variety of opportunities for students.
Yeah. Anika, we, of course, are at a business conference, the Mackinac Policy Conference, full of business leaders. What role does business play in this pipeline?
So I'm really glad you asked that, because we actually included employers as a part of this report. We had focus groups with business employers from a multitude of industries. And what was really interesting, what we really wanted to know is what were they looking for for those entry level employees, what kinds of skills. And it often wasn't the things that we were often thinking about. Many of them were looking for higher level math skills. Many of them were looking for critical thinking skills. Can you solve a problem on your own? Many of them were looking even for social and presentation skills. Can you get up in front of a group and actually speak articulately? And prior to this, those necessarily were not the classes that young people actually had an opportunity to take or would even know to take, right? I mean, math, of course, yes, but to really lean into higher math, calculus, algebra, you wouldn't necessarily know that was going to be a critical element for employers.
It sounds overall like a lot of surprises out of this report. Anika, Kerrie, Sarida, thank you so much for the time.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having me.
And we're going to take a quick break. We will be right back.